Hello everybody and welcome to another live stream. Today we're going to be talking about how to use transfer tape and adhesive vinyl to create your own vinyl decals. Now besides for the transfer tape and vinyl itself, you're also going to need a die cutting machine. We have an Explore Air 2 from Cricut, and then you're also going to need a cutting mat. And then obviously design software. We're using Design Space by Cricut, and we're going to create a vinyl decal. So step one is to choose what kind of vinyl you want to use. So we have black and white adhesive vinyl available, but there are also other colors and options you can go crazy with. Now these are all just examples and samples that we're testing. But you're not just limited to black and white. There are so many different colors, sizes, shapes that you can use to create decals. So step one is we are going to put the vinyl on our cutting mat. And we're just going to place that down here. This is a 12-inch by 12-inch sheet. And all you do is put that on there, make sure it's nice and flat, and have it load into the machine. And from there, you're going to be able to set up your cutting machine. And then I'm just going to hit make right here in Design Space on Cricut at the top right corner over here. And then my computer is going to talk to the Cricut machine, and it is going to figure out how to actually get this started. Okay, so I hit make it, and it's connecting right now. The computer software is connecting to the Cricut machine. The Cricut machine's turned on with the vinyl loaded inside, and we're going to wait for it to connect here. And I like to make sure before it actually starts going, sometimes the cutting mat doesn't actually go all the way up into the machine, and it doesn't have a good solid grip on it. So that's something you have to be careful of. So now it's ready to go, and I'm kind of impatient, so I like to use fast mode. Just toggle that on very quickly. I'll get you a little bit of a better look here. Fast mode, and it says press go. So all you have to do from this point, and we're using this item, this black adhesive vinyl, and we press go, and then our computer is going to process the design, and we are going to cut out this image. And it's very quick. This is just a small image, about 3 inches by 3 inches, or a little smaller. And you can see the Cricut machine just working its magic, cutting precisely the pattern we have chosen, which was a shark. You can't really see that from this image, but there it is. It cut it out. So it's actually here, and you can't really see it until we weed it. And to do that, I'm going to take this weeding tool and have it weeded. All right. So let me just move the camera here so you guys can get a better look. Okay, so now we have it cut out. We are done with the computer portion. So I'm just going to shut this, turn off my Cricut machine. And what we're going to do is we're going to weed this cut out vinyl from the mat. I like to just leave it on the mat. It makes it kind of easy to weed, just already being stuck on the mat here. I'm going to take my weeding tool, and sometimes I'll just take my fingers here and peel up. And then you have to kind of be careful with the actual design itself to make sure that it is coming up. So you can kind of see here the design, and I'm kind of having to fight with it a little bit. This is what the part that's hardest for everyone is, the actual weeding. but I have to kind of peel up, and it's really nice to have this needled tool. And I'm just going to remove all this extra vinyl. It's a really good idea to actually use up the entire sheet so you don't waste anything. But here's our image of our shark, and then it does have a few more details. It looks like I must have poked it there, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm trying to see the exact line. So this is how we actually weed all the extra vinyl that you don't need. Sometimes I'll just stick it on the mat, and if you want to get really good at this, you can kind of, as you're weeding, keep all the excess weeded vinyl on the tool. And I'm looking, there's a little bit of his nose that we didn't get. I like to just peel it off bit by bit and just remove the extra vinyl. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just a quick adhesive vinyl cutout here. I think there's a little bit left here in his back part of his fin, and I think that is everything. So we just took a regular 12-inch by 12-inch sheet of black adhesive vinyl, and then we cut it out in our Cricut machine using Design Space software and a Cricut Explore Air 2. And then now the next part is, so there's a couple different ways you can take this and put it on whatever surface you want to use. Say you're putting out a mug or maybe a car decal or something like that. The first and the way I do not recommend is if you actually peel it up using your fingers, and that's really tough. So what I highly recommend is to get a roll of transfer tape, okay? We have 30 feet of transfer tape rolls available on Amazon. Just type in Royal Elements transfer tape for vinyl, and something like this will show up. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut out some of this transfer tape, and we're going to basically make it in the size of our shark shape. And we are going to quickly transfer this shark to this mug. And I'll show you how to do that. So basically, I just count the squares. Each one of these squares, by the way, is 1 inch. And it's really nice to have this grid. So this looks like it's about 4 inches by maybe another 4 inches. Hopefully I did that right. So if I cut this out 4 inches by 4 inches, it'll be enough to cover the shark and transfer it. Okay, so cutting out the transfer tape. Now the nice thing about our transfer tape is that it is clear and it has this 1 inch alignment grid. So there's a backing sheet on here, but when you peel it up, the actual transfer tape itself is clear. Okay. So I like to just leave it on the Cricut mat or your cutting mat, and then what I do is I peel off the transfer tape and I put it down. So you can either smooth it out by hand. If you have a squeegee, you can also use a squeegee. I don't know if I have one here, but our transfer tape does come with squeegees, so that's very nice to just be able to make sure the transfer tape sticks to your surface and transfer it to whatever item you want. So from here, you want to make sure the transfer tape really sticks to the vinyl. Otherwise, it's going to be really annoying when you try and peel it up, and I did a good job, but maybe the vinyl part here is going to stick to the back of the mat, and you're going to be fighting with the transfer tape. So that's why it's really nice to have a squeegee to make sure it sticks down really well. But then from here, all you do is peel it up, and as you can see, a little bit of his fin. Ooh, that actually looks like I should have weeded that, and I didn't. Or maybe I just cut the fin out. A little bit weird. But that's the transfer tape. So the transfer tape itself has a medium tack backing, whereas the vinyl has a stronger adhesive tack. Tack just meaning how strong the adhesive material is, the glue. So when you transfer this to whatever item you're going to transfer it to, the transfer tape will pull up, but the vinyl, the cut out weeded vinyl, will actually stick on the surface. So in order to do that, on a round surface is a little bit tricky. I like to go from one side and then work it over. But with transfer tape, it's super easy to put that on. The thing is, once you have it on the surface, this vinyl, the black part, the part that you cut out with the Cricut machine, is probably going to stick on there very, very strongly. So if you messed it up a little bit, then it's going to be difficult to adjust it. But from there, you just remove the transfer tape, and your cutout vinyl sticks and stays. Okay, so that is basically the process for using adhesive vinyl. And then we do have a little bit of adhesive vinyl available on Amazon now. This is our 20-pack, 20 sheets of black glossy adhesive vinyl. And then we also have transfer tape as well. But the cool thing about transfer tape is you can reuse it. So I just use this little cutout square. Maybe I'm going to do another transfer. I can just put it back on, stick it in my drawer, and then keep it. And you can use it for the next project, which is really cool. Okay, so that is basically the process for using adhesive vinyl and transfer tape. This will stay on super well. If you're going to scratch at it or anything like that, then you either want to epoxy over this. So this is epoxy, and epoxying over the vinyl will just completely cover it and seal it. Or you could use laminating sheets, but usually this is pretty good, just having the vinyl itself stick on here. Okay, and then let's do one more transfer. I already have them cut out, so it's going to go by pretty quickly. And this is of our black adhesive vinyl sheets. And like I said, this is already cut out. I cut this out off camera. And I can't even see it. It's really difficult to see. One cool tip I saw someone share is I think you can use baby powder and put it over your design, and then it'll actually stick to the parts that you cut out. So you'll be able to see the outline. But I can't really do that. I'm just going to kind of take it up by hand. Maybe use my weeding tool. That would be a good idea. And remove the corner here and try and find where it is that I cut. Did I cut this sheet? I'm losing my mind. Maybe it's this one. Where is... Oh, it's right here. I already had it. So this is actually the white adhesive vinyl. And I already cut this out, but I messed it up. I mixed it up. And this has a bunch of different designs on it. So this is, we have a bear, we have a cat that I cut out, and this took only a few short minutes to cut it out. So I'm going really quickly. But you'd probably want to take your time a little bit more weeding out the vinyl. And you're really going to want to pick and choose your vinyl provider carefully. So that actually transferred pretty nicely. It's kind of hard to see white on white, but this is all the weeded part of the vinyl that we are not using. And I'm just going to throw that to the side here. And then here's our actual weeded adhesive vinyl. And then for this diamond, if I can see it all right, I'm just gonna weed it and remove all of these little intricate cuts that I used with my Cricut machine. And you can do that fairly quickly with this weeding tool. This is a Cricut weeding tool. It's I guess you call it a needle pointed weeding tool. And then you just go down the line on all these little pieces. This is the fun part. I think this is the fun part. Actually weeding it and working on your design. It's kind of cool to like be using your hands to make a neat little craft that's super well made. It looks professional, and all you need is a sheet of adhesive vinyl and a Cricut machine to do that, and a few other things like our transfer tape. So that is basically the process here. Some of this is kind of, you see that kind of sticking to the vinyl that I don't want to stick there. I think I cut that out almost fully. Yeah. So, all right, let's just transfer one more. Maybe the feather. Well, let's just do the diamond because I weeded that out. So we're going to take our transfer tape here that we have available on Amazon, and we're going to transfer it over onto another surface. Now, because this is white, you're obviously not going to want to transfer white vinyl to another white surface. That's not going to look very good. What you can do is actually layer the vinyl. So you could layer another design on top of this and do different colors and different patterns, and there's really no limit to how many times you can do that. You can make some really cool designs. But here it is, weeded and pulled up. And let's just put it on my laptop. It'll work with basically any smooth, hard surface. Once you weed it and cut it out. And like I said, our Royal Elements transfer tape comes with a squeegee that you can see in the description right next to this video. That should be highlighted, but I don't have that here today, and you can see that kind of needed to stick down a little bit better. But oh, there's something I forgot to weed. Nice, the transfer tape picked it up. I'll just push this down a little bit better. Uh-oh. That's why a squeegee really helps. Otherwise, this kind of stuff will happen. Let's see if I can get it. And just peel it up. Okay? So there it is. Transfer tape and adhesive vinyl. And you can do that, like I said, I'd recommend using the entire sheet. So if you have a full sheet of vinyl, fill it up all the way with designs that you have cut out, and it'll only take a few minutes max to cut everything out. But then you're able to have some really cool designs. A lot of them are free on Design Space, but there are some paid designs, or you can even Google them if you want like a specific image that isn't available, and you can import them as a vector, an SVG, a scalable vector graphic, so that it has the highest quality kind of design that you can cut out. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial. Be sure to follow us on Amazon Live. We'll go live periodically. Sometimes we'll schedule it out. And check out our store, Amazon.com/Royal Elements. We have a bunch of different items, not just adhesive vinyl and transfer tape. We have all kinds of different printable vinyls. We have some live streams and some videos on that we've done previously. But that's a completely different topic. But if you want to check us out, just go to amazon.com/royalelements and you can find that. All right. Thanks for watching.